Grocery managers are sharing how things are about to get a whole lot worse. We see a bank run on medications. We're also seeing more electronic price tags on things, even at Lowe's and Home Depot. South Africans are using some of these shortages as an excuse to drink more. And we're going to hear an update from Alaska from Rubber Ducky. We've got a whole bunch of stuff for you today. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. So glad for you to join us. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant, and we do a lot of the reports that you guys send in. We get the best ones and share them back with you. Vital, critical information from people's workplaces, from local stores, and what they're seeing there. We want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group, for sponsoring this video. And there'll be an opportunity to learn more about them at the end of this video. All right, so a fiber optic cable was cut in Nebraska. One cable was cut in Nebraska, and all of 911 across the state, the services was lost. And it took about a day to get it back up. It looks like most areas of Nebraska now have 911 functioning again, but it just goes to show how dependent we are today on single cables. Just one single cable and things go pear-shaped super, super fast. All right, so this is from a viewer. I had to get an antibiotic for my son yesterday. They said at the ER it was at Rite Aid. I went there and it looked like a bank run on meds. The line was long to get it. It was not there, so I went to my CVS. Once again, a long line inside and through the drive-through. I said to the pharmacist, it looks like a bank run on meds. She said that they were getting Rite Aid's scripts from people coming in saying they could not get their meds. So CVS is slammed because Rite Aid was not fulfilling them, and they're out of stock. So when I heard that, I went back to Rite Aid just because I'm wanting to know, but pretty much the same answer there. That tells me that the shortages are getting worse and people are pinballing from pharmacy to pharmacy to get their meds. That, of course, is my conclusion that I witnessed. Also, CVS told me that they are 1 week plus in filling of orders. And if you're out, to call that they will get it. If you're out, you should call and that they will expedite it as soon as possible. And that is just, we're seeing that with a lot of different medications out there, aren't we? We can't be dependent upon, and remember, most of the medications in the United States come from China ultimately. They're being manufactured in China. And we're talking about going to war with them. We're talking about threatening them and doing all this kind of stuff like that, but yet we're super dependent upon them. This is from Homestead Nurse. We went to our local small country grocery store in East Alabama that has a butcher and sells locally grown meat. My husband went to school with the owner who happened to be in the store tonight. I asked him what he thought about all the meat plants closing and how they were affecting his business. He got this sad and concerned look on his face that said it all. He said, "I'm afraid nothing is going back to the way it was." Then he told us that all the dairy farms and plants in Alabama have closed permanently. When I asked him where the dairy is coming from, he says, "I don't know." It was so sad. We are saying goodbye to an era, and many people don't even realize it. We are prepped up and growing our own food, but most people don't even see this coming. Also, they said, I was just talking with my husband about it, and he said that he ran into the owner of the local grocery store a while back, and he was telling him how difficult it was to get stuff now. He looked stressed and defeated. Even though we have been preparing for this for years, it really hit us hard, emotionally. We worry for our kids and our grandkids. The slow train wreck seems to be speeding up. If you remember back to when the cough was hitting, remember how scared you were? Like When you saw other people panicking, when you didn't really know what was going on, and you're trying to gather information, do you remember how scared you were? Because in a crisis situation, you're going to be scared. You're going to be looking at the world, and it's going to be emotional. And when you're emotional, it becomes more difficult to make clear-headed choices, which is part of the reason why they want to make it emotional, is because they want you to make choices that you would not otherwise do. You will comply in situations where you look back, like we are now, looking back at some of these situations and saying, I can't believe I went along with that. But not only were you afraid of the situation, you were afraid of the pushback. You were afraid of, will I be arrested? Will I be kicked out of the store? What will happen to me? What happens if I don't take the juice, right? People who are afraid make choices that they may not otherwise. This is a viewer from Western Quebec. I started to harvest my 150 hills of potatoes that I planted in the second week of May, and now they are ready to be harvested. I dug up 10 hills of potatoes and didn't get a good result compared to last year in 2022. This year in 2023, my harvest looks to be down 75% compared to last year. Potatoes are very small. Biggest are about hand size. Many are close to 3 inches in length, and the odd one is about 5 inches in length. Never in my lifetime have I seen a harvest like this year. I won't have enough to get me through the winter if the other 140 hills are the same when I harvest them. I guess all the smoke and rain prevented them to fully mature. I am afraid potatoes are going to be very short everywhere in Canada and in the United States. All right, this is from R. Steve, this is the biggest indicator of how bad our economy is in the U.S. Most people ignore railroads, but they haul the most freight. And they attached some of the latest information on railroad traffic. And railroad traffic is down 5.9% in August compared to the prior year. And especially in the departments of grain and forest products. Our grain harvests are late this year, and so we're seeing in August we saw a big drop in the results of that. All right, moving up to rubber ducky up in Alaska. Remember, this is the end of the supply chain, so we're looking at the very tip of the whip kind of cracking. So just to understand kind of what's happening at the far reaches of the supply chain. Anchorage Walmart has some 20-pound great value rice trickling back in. So they are starting to get that again. 5-pound bags, they have some, but they look spotty still. Ramen is back in stock in Anchorage. Spam has also returned in a decent quantity. Eggs look good. So does sugar and dairy. However, it looks like this location has stopped carrying the Augustin Farms prepper food. It was desolate for weeks, and now I can't find a section for it. Looks like a phase out to me until proven otherwise. Canned foods look well stocked, but we'll see how current events affect that. Moral of the story, take advantage when you have the opportunity. It looks better in Anchorage now, but we could be right back to where we were a month ago. And with winter right around the corner, things are probably going to get a little rougher there in Alaska, right? Like they always do. This is from Bonnie. The USDA downgrade their numbers as well. So this is in response to the video on the labor shortage, how not shortage of labor, but shortage of jobs for labor, right? Unemployment numbers as well as, unemployment numbers and employment numbers. So USDA is also downgrading their numbers. They know that they've been lying bad since 2018 when crop failures got started. Believe me, I'm a small farmer and come from a family of 200 to 1,100 acres in these farms. And many of my farmer friends and this year are pointing to the fact that it's going to be hellacious. So take it from a farmer, sharing about how the USDA numbers are bogus. Now, USDA reports on what's going on with acreage, what total harvest numbers are going to look like, and also what supply of grains look like. This is from Sherry. I was at Home Depot to get a gutter extension. I asked the employee to help me find the part because I didn't see it, and I wanted brown, but they only had some white. All the gutter pipes and parts were low in stock. Many had yellow clearance stickers. The employee pointed this out. I asked if they would be getting more brown in soon. He said they hadn't gotten a shipment in a long time, and that's all their stock. All their stock is getting low. He thought maybe it was the Panama situation. I'm wondering if it's aluminum shortages. What gutter parts they had were mostly plastic. So a lot of aluminum is mostly made overseas, and a lot of the stamped products are made overseas in factories, of course. This is from South Africa. Parrot Africa says, South Africans are not pleased with the coffee prices. Some South Africans are left wondering if they should buy some alcohol instead for their first drink, as coffee is now more expensive than some of the brands of alcohol. And with shortages out there, you start seeing this kind of weird substitutions, right? People want to do certain things, are going to use it as an opportunity to go after certain things. So right there, coffee prices are significantly up out there across the board. And this is from Do the Hokey Pokey. They say, here in North Carolina, a Taylorsville, North Carolina furniture manufacturer just shut down in August. 1,000 plus jobs were lost. And we're seeing this across the board. We're seeing lots of major layoffs. I call massive BS to the government report. And Angela responding to that, I was one of those. I was a remote designer and in sales, no notice. In fact, in July, they said everything was figured out. But apparently, the way they figured it out was that they were going to lay off most of their employees. If you have a job right now and it feels secure, just be thinking of what your backup plans are, and if you can line up any jobs. If you're a little worried about what your job is looking like right now, see if you can start lining up backup plans for that. Kevin in South Bend, Indiana. I just came from Lowe's lumber yard, and when I bought plywood, I noticed the price tags were electric boxes by each bunk of lumber. This way they can raise the price with a computer keystroke and not have to do it daily by changing tags. And with inflation out there, we're seeing that a lot of stores are thinking along the same lines. Walmarts are rolling out the price tag change, so the price tags were going to be electronic as well. And we're going to be seeing that with a lot of other stores. A lot of grocery stores are rolling it out. Aldi's are rolling out the electronic tags. They're expecting higher inflation numbers and having to change the prices rapidly. And so that's what they're looking at these days. All right, folks, if you want to get your retirement in order, if you have a 401k, IRA, and you want to talk to Jonathan and his team over at Genesis Gold Group, talking about getting stocks and bonds into gold, silver, and platinum, there's a link right here that will take you over to their website to get some more information. Fill out that form. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.